Each one teach one. Your boy gotta preach. So this is for the Republicans. We're gonna talk about free speech. Stay tuned. What's going on, folks? It's your boy Javier Javier with the Javier Javier Show. Make sure you say it twice. I'm here, man. I'm finna tell you, Republicans, this is a message to you. So I'm talking about the people on the right, whether you consider yourself conservative, right, libertarian. We got to start complaining about this free speech thing when it comes to social media. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, it's a company. Companies are allowed to do whatever it is that they want to do. If they want to stop certain speech on their website, that's cool. If they want to stop certain material or certain media to be played on a social platform, that's fine. I mean, we all complained about when Kavanaugh was doing his kneeling at the national anthem. I mean, me personally, my complaint was that he shouldn't be doing it while he was at work. You know what I'm saying? Because the NFL is an organization. They get to choose how their employees act and not act. So I feel the same way about YouTube. I feel the same way about Twitter. I feel the same way about Facebook, Instagram. It doesn't matter. Maybe social media platforms should be used to promote whatever it is that the social media platform wants to promote. I mean, why do we have a problem with the social media cracking down on certain people? If they don't agree with our information or our message, that's fine. How about somebody else go out there and create another platform that we can all sit and discuss and we can talk about those things? Now, it does come at a cost because they're going to separate and divide people from the left and the right. They're going to separate people. People are going to be in their echo chambers, and everybody going to be talking in their own bubble. So that just tells me that the more and more they crack down on certain types of people, which happens to be on the right, usually more often than people on the left, then that's going to cause people on the right to move to a different, platform, and they're just going to be talking to people on the right. They're not going to be there to disagree or to have discussions with people they disagree with. So they're just going to keep reinforcing the ideas that they already believe. And it's the same thing on the left. They're going to be doing the same exact thing. And that just means more division in the country. So I'm kind of torn in between two things. Maybe it's the fact that, one, I do believe that companies should be able to, make their own rules. And if we don't agree with those rules, that's fine. We have to go somewhere else, But also, I'm kind of torn because I know that if social media platforms do divide us, then things are just going to get more divisive and we're going to end up just fighting more and more, disagreeing more and more. There's less access to information and people who disagree. Now, I be talking to people on Facebook or, Twitter, and I disagree with a lot of people. And there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of name calling, a lot of trolling, a lot of people accusing me of this, that, and the third. And a lot of people think because I'm pro-life that I somehow makes me a Christian, but they never stop to ask. They just put it on me, but I'm really an atheist. So they start attacking me about your God this, and your God that, and your God. And I'm like, yo, I'm not even a Christian. So there's this mentality where people on both sides make these assumptions about the people on the other side. And that's fine. I mean, that's free speech. I'm all for free speech. Even if you tell me you hate me, you tell me that I'm trash, you tell me anything that comes to your mind, you can tell me that. And I support your right to say it. And that's for anybody on either side. And I hope that we get the same in return from the other side. Now, as far as free speech goes, the free speech is technically that the government can't infringe on your right to free speech. Social media is not the government. Facebook is not the government. Twitter is not the government. They're not the government. They don't owe you anything. They don't owe you the right to free speech. That's something that the government can't do. But the social platforms can do it all day and tomorrow, and there's nothing you can do to stop them. And I mean, that's cool. Maybe we need our own people on the right to create new platforms that people on the right can go discuss it, and even allow people on the left to come in there and have those discussions without being censored. I don't really like the idea of treating your opposition the same way they treat you. Just because your opposition calls you names doesn't mean you have to call them names in return. We can have a discussion about abortion. We can talk about men, women. We can talk about homosexuality. We can talk about all these different discussions, the gun debate. It does not matter. We can talk about all these things. And if you want to throw insults, that's cool. If you don't, that's even better. But I support your right to do so. Now, I hope that social media would allow people to express themselves, whether it does not matter whether you're for, gay rights, or if you're against gay rights. If you get into the debate about whether a man can be a woman or a woman can be a man, that's fine. I think that social media should allow us to do those things. Even if you're wrong, even if you're right, even if you spread false information. Because one thing about it, two things for sure. People should have the right to choose what ideas that they adhere to or follow. And if you don't present all the arguments, people won't have a real choice. Even if it's uninformed, you should have the right to choose. But social media would like to, keep certain ideas off of their platform. And that's just because there are certain people on these websites that are complaining or upset when they hear things that they necessarily don't like or subscribe to. And social media is trying to figure out, because it's relatively new, they're trying to figure out what should we allow on our platforms and shouldn't allow on our platforms. Now, to the conservatives out there, I know that a lot of times that it may feel like it's being cracked down on one side more than the other side, but you do have to understand that, the left is very good at pushing their messages. They're very good at, getting to these social media giants and putting pressure on them and getting them to do what they want. That's not their fault. That's our fault. Maybe conservatives should be more willing to push back and try to get these people to admit that they're biased, or get them to allow us to say what we want on our platforms. And so that's me saying that, you can complain about it, but at the same time, your complaint should not be they don't have the right to do this. Your complaint should not be that they're cracking down on our free speech. That should not be your complaint. Your complaint should be like, let us say what we want to say. You let them say what they want to say. Let us say what I want to say. Let's be fair. And if you won't be fair, we'll go somewhere else. Take your business somewhere else. That's the freedom of association. And I'm all down for that. So when they start to lose their money from the right, they may start allowing that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to make sure that you support who you support and not support who you don't support. You got to hit them in the pockets, because a lot of these companies, all they care about is the dollar bill. So you got to just make sure that you hit them where it hurt. But this complaint about free speech and, they treat the right differently and all that, we're not going to be the victims. Let's stop playing this victim game, because we not victims. If that's something the left want to do, if they want to play victim card, like, woe me, you treating me this way and I want this and that, and sometimes their complaints are legitimate. There are certain things that people on the other side do that affects them also. They live in this country too. So we shouldn't overlook their ideas, but they shouldn't overlook ours either. So both sides have legitimate arguments. So let's hear these arguments. So I'm all down for social media, like letting people speak their mind. Do it. I'm good for that free speech. But that's not a right guaranteed by Facebook. It's not a right guaranteed by Twitter. That's a right guaranteed by the government. Stop mixing up the government for businesses. Walmart has the right to tell me that I can't come in their store with a gun. That's their right. That's the policy that they decided. The Walmart doesn't guarantee me the Second Amendment. The government does. So at the same time, we got to make sure we get our information correct. We got to understand exactly what it is that we're promised in this country and by who. We can't take the rights in this country and apply it to independent organizations and businesses. Now, we're all about capitalism on the right. We're all about it. So we should support companies deciding their own policies and the things that they allow on their platforms or in their stores, or it does not matter, all across the board. You just take your business elsewhere. Now, some of y'all might say, well, there's nowhere else to take it. Well, we need some of y'all smart people to get your fingers working, start making some businesses, start, building, start making some software, start making your own apps, and let's go there. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine. And be up front with it. This is a conservative website. This is a conservative platform. Be honest about it. Don't try to cloak it in something that it ain't, like a lot of news networks do. Just be honest. Now, this free speech thing, some of y'all, you have conversations with other people on social media, and you start feeling insulted. A lot of the natural instinct is, all right, if these people won't take my argument serious and actually talk about the actual merits of the argument, I'm just going to troll. That's fine. Trolling has appropriate place. I'm not one of those people that's against trolling. Like, if you're trying to have a serious conversation with somebody and they don't want to have a serious conversation with you, sometimes it feels good to just piss them off. That happens, you know. But this is just my message to the right. Like, yo, you know, let's stop complaining about this free speech thing on social media. Let's stop complaining about it. Because at the end of the day, capitalism, freedom of association, these companies have the right to do what it is that they do. So that's just plain and simple. Now, we can get into the left and how they complain about all kind of stuff about, you know, what was allowed to be said and you denying my existence and all these different things. But, you know, I'm not focused on them. We focused on each other. Because I can criticize you and you can criticize me, and I should be able to take that criticism. Some of y'all going to disagree with what I got to say right now. Right now, I'm exercising my freedom of speech because the government can't come in my house and tell me right now I can't say the things that I'm saying. You know, until they start doing that, then that's when we got a problem. But other than that, like right now, YouTube can take my video off if they don't agree with something I said. And that's just something I have to deal with. I can't dictate what YouTube allows me to put on their platform and not put on their platform. That's fine. So I'm just talking sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know we can sit here and criticize the left all day tomorrow. You know, it doesn't matter. Like, we can criticize each other too. And I may be wrong. You might know some information that I don't know, and you might want to come tell me like, yo, this is what this says, and I might be wrong, and I might have to recant my story, and I might have to give a different opinion. I ain't right about everything. But as far as my understanding goes, with social media, with, you know, companies and stuff like that, they don't guarantee you the right of freedom of speech. So get that in your head. You're not guaranteed the right of freedom of speech. Life sucks. Life is not fair. That's what we try to tell people on the left. Life is not fair. Life sucks. But we are not victims. We can find our own platforms. We can find our own way. We can talk to each other in our own way. Make connections. Talk out. Reach out to people. I can have these discussions. And those people on the left that want to have a discussion and want to actually sit down and talk with you, that's cool. I like that. Maybe we just have to ignore those people who can't take a full grown-up discussion. So, you know, when it comes to free speech, my last and final word on this is, you know, stop complaining about it. Find another outlet. And let's move forward. A lot of people are doing it on the internet. They got their own websites where you can go subscribe to them and support them. You got to learn to support the people that, you know, are speaking on your behalf. A lot of y'all may not be with spending money to subscribe to these channels or subscribe to people's websites, but you might have to do that. And it's worth it if you want to hear these voices. So, you know, you came, you heard, you saw. Now run, tell them I said it. And if they ask me by name, make sure you say it twice. This is the Javier Javier Show.